NASCAR is bringing some big changes in 2025, and these changes could make the sport look very different.
Ryan Blaney has won his way into the championship.
A great day for Kyle Larson.
Seventh career win in his 100th.
Joey Logano takes the checkered flag.
One of the most talked about updates is the new open exemption provisional rule. This rule will allow famous drivers from the other racing series to compete in NASCAR races, even if they haven't qualified in the usual way. This rule can also expand the race field beyond the standard 40 cars to fit these special guest drivers. This rule has made people talk a lot. Some think it will bring fresh attention to NASCAR by including world-famous names like Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton, or Daniel Ricciardo. Others, like NASCAR journalist Jeff Gluck, believe it is unfair. Gluck explained that if Verstappen joined NASCAR, he would easily get a spot, but if a NASCAR driver wanted to race in Formula One, they would not get the same chance.
This is trying to solve a problem that doesn't exist. To me, it's also detracting from part of what makes the Daytona 500 special. The duels are fun, and it's exciting to see the reaction of who made it in, and oh my gosh, this person did this in the last lap of the duels, and this person did this, and qualifying as well. Oh, this person just locked in a spot. The emotion, the excitement, or on the other hand, the heartbreak, the setback. You missed it. It's part of the buildup to what makes the Daytona 500 NASCAR's biggest race. That's crazy. Come on now. That makes you look less than. I don't think that's good for NASCAR. It's basically saying, it's screaming to Lewis, to Max, to Daniel Ricciardo, please come give us attention from the F1 fans.
One team that is already taking advantage of this new rule is Trackhouse Racing. They have announced that Helio Castroneves, a very successful IndyCar driver, will race for them in the 2025 Daytona 500. Castroneves will be driving the number 91 car in his first NASCAR Cup Series race. He will join Daniel Suarez, Ross Chastain, and Shane Van Gisbergen on the Trackhouse Racing team. Fans are excited to see how he performs, as his skills and experience in other types of racing could make him a strong competitor. Helio Castroneves isn't the only exciting addition to the Daytona 500 lineup. Mike Wallace, a 65-year-old NASCAR veteran, will also return to the track in 2025. Wallace will drive the number 66 car for MBM Motorsports. Other drivers like J.J. Yaley and Anthony Alfredo are also confirmed for the race. Reports suggest that more drivers, including legends like Jimmy Johnson, might join as well, making the 2025 Daytona 500 a race to remember. While these changes are being introduced, NASCAR is also updating another rule called the waiver rule. Under this new rule, drivers must participate in all championship events for the season and try to finish every race. This change is designed to stop drivers from leaving mid-race to compete in other major events like the Indianapolis 500. NASCAR wants to make sure drivers are fully committed to the series and not just treating it as a backup plan. These rule changes show that NASCAR is trying to attract a larger audience and make the sport more exciting. The open exemption provisional rule might bring new fans who follow famous drivers from other racing series, but it also raises questions about fairness. Current NASCAR drivers have spent years working hard to earn their spots, and some fans worry that giving special treatment to guest drivers could take opportunities away from those who deserve them. As NASCAR looks to the future, the 2025 Daytona 500 is shaping up to be one of the most exciting races in years. With big names like Helio Castroneves and Mike Wallace joining the team, fans can expect high-stakes competition and unforgettable moments. At the same time, the new rules show that NASCAR is willing to change and adapt to stay relevant in a world where sports are constantly evolving. One of the most significant updates is about playoff waivers. NASCAR now requires drivers who miss a playoff race to forfeit all their playoff points unless the absence is due to medical emergencies, age restrictions, or other exceptions like the birth of a child. This means drivers like Kyle Larson, who competed in both the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 in previous seasons, must carefully plan their schedules. Missing a race for any reason other than those exceptions will not only cost playoff points already earned, but also any points the driver might earn during the season. This rule change aims to ensure that all playoff contenders participate consistently throughout the season. The Damaged Vehicle Policy, or DVP, has also undergone significant changes. Previously, cars that could not be repaired within 7 minutes or were unable to return to the pits were automatically out of the race. Under the new rules, teams can now take their cars to a designated garage area for repairs without a time limit. This allows teams to return to the race after fixing significant damage, even if they lose several laps. But if a car exceeds the 7-minute repair clock while on pit road, it must go to the garage for further repairs. Also, if a car cannot drive back to the pits due to damage or flat tires, it will be towed to the garage instead of being eliminated. This change gives teams more opportunities to continue competing after incidents, which could have a big impact on race outcomes. NASCAR has also introduced stricter penalties for manufacturers. These penalties target violations such as breaking wind tunnel regulations, exceeding event roster limits, or violating the vehicle testing policy. Penalties may include the loss of manufacturer points, reduced wind tunnel hours, or suspension of representatives. This rule aims to prevent manufacturers from gaining an unfair advantage during the season. The changes were likely prompted by controversies in previous seasons, such as instances where teams from the same manufacturer collaborated in ways that influenced race results. By penalizing manufacturers directly, NASCAR hopes to maintain a fair playing field. Another key update involves the 100% rule, which has been revised to focus on preventing race manipulation. Previously, the rule prohibited artificial changes to finishing positions, but the new language emphasizes any attempts to influence the outcome of a race or championship. This update provides clearer guidelines for teams and officials, making it easier to enforce penalties when necessary. The suspension rules have also been updated to offer more flexibility. Teams can now defer suspensions resulting from technical penalties for one race without filing an appeal. This allows teams to better manage personnel and avoid disruptions during critical points in the season. But other types of suspensions will still take effect immediately. Qualifying formats have been simplified as well. Most tracks will now use a single round of qualifying, with short tracks featuring a 2-lap format. Super speedways will include a final round for the top 10 qualifiers. This change eliminates the more complex group qualifying systems used in recent years, returning to a more traditional approach. Group practice sessions have also been extended from 20 to 25 minutes, giving teams slightly more time to fine-tune their setups. NASCAR has also made a change regarding penalties for vehicles that fail to maintain reasonable speed. Under the new rule, cars intentionally going slow, such as during caution periods to save fuel, will be sent to the back of the field. This rule was implemented to prevent strategies that could disrupt the flow of the race. For example, there have been past incidents where drivers intentionally slowed down to save fuel, which sometimes caused controversy. Now, any such actions will result in a tail of the field penalty. But what do you think about all this? Comment down your thoughts right now. And while you're down there, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well.